This is a question for the men. If you're not a man, keep scrolling. Okay, so men, why are we hating women? Why are we hating women?
I already know this is going to be some nonsense. All right. Might as well cue the theme music.
Welcome to Center Ground, your home for unfiltered discussion, where we tackle today's most talked about topics, break down current events, and give our take on the internet's latest foolishness. Tune in and let's find some common ground. Let's get this party started.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I am your host, Bootsy, once again with another reaction video. This one is from a channel called Manhood, right? So I'm like, it's got to be interesting. And the title is Women Still Have No Clue Why Men Want Nothing to Do with Them Anymore. That's interesting wording. It clarified 2025, which I guess is very important, right? All right, so let's get back to this lady who said, let's just start it over. I don't know. She seemed like she was going to start some nonsense.
This is a question for the men. If you're
Men
not
here.
a man, keep scrolling. Okay, so men, why are we hating women?
Now we hate them.
Why are we hating women?
Before she even starts, I'm like, why isn't it never, why do you dislike women? Why do you challenge women? Why do you disagree with women? It's always to the extreme thing called hatred. I don't think there's an overabundance of men on this earth who actually hate women. Are there some? Of course there are. There's always some. I would also argue that there's probably more women who literally hate men than men who actually hate women. And I'm not pulling that opinion out of my butt cheeks. I would argue that because you're more likely to see a woman saying really hurtful and hateful things towards men than you are to see men doing that to women. Now, don't get me wrong. You might hear men call them the B word or say that they're 304s because of their behavior, but that's not really hatred of them. That could always be hatred of the behavior. So let's hear from this lady a little bit more.
I feel like women are hating men and men are now hating women. They don't want to get married. They don't want to live with them.
At least she's being equal. I'll give her that. Kudos to this lady, right? Because a lot of people don't do that. They don't say both sides. They pick a side, usually the side that they're on, and then they argue meaningless points.
They, don't, they just want to be single forever. Like, what's going on here? Are all you men into men now? Like, what's going on? I'm so confused.
That's another thing, and I don't know where this came from. It would not surprise me if this ideology came from the black community. But men being tired of what women are doing, or even criticizing men, or just simply not liking what they do, does not constitute as that man being a homosexual. That's not how this works. You can look at the behavior of someone, not like what they do, want to stay away from them, and it doesn't mean that you like your gender. It also does not mean that you hate them, right? So I could tell this is going to annoy me.
I feel like we're creating a divide here, folks. Can we come back together? I love men. And I want men to start loving women again. Like,
See, here's the problem. So women like her, and I'm going to point her out specifically, don't seem to understand how their behavior affects their people's perception of them. So she started off by saying men hate women. She then cleaned it up by saying men hate women and women hate men. Then she turned it back and said, well, I love men, which tells me that she's most likely single. And she essentially said it's men's fault as to why there is a divide.
I don't know. What do we need to do? Let me know and I can try to get the
And when she says what we need to do, she really means what men are going to do. She doesn't mean what are we going to do as a female collective, what are we going to do to assist in the betterment of the relationship? That's not what she means.
congregation together and we could try to move forward so we can all start loving.
And I swear, everybody on the internet talk like corporate speech. You know how you ever worked in an office and like the leader or the manager or whatever they're called nowadays, they talk about how like we're all a team and we're all family. And it's like, Where was you when my cat died? Where was you when my dog was sick? We are not family, right? When I'm in need, I can't come to you. You're gonna tell me to go to HR. Like you not. We're not actually family. But I'm curious as to why everybody on the internet now do like corporate mumbo jumbo, where they love saying we, but they put in no work. It's like, you ever had a manager who don't help you do your job like at all, or people on your direct team who don't help you with your job, but they love talking that team nonsense? Tell me if that don't piss you off.
Loving each other again? I don't know. What am I missing? Can you please fill me in? I'm very, 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 very confused. Okay.
Wait, see, I thought I was observant. She talking into the can. Did she stick a microphone in the can, or is she just being funny? Or maybe she was just drinking. I don't know, but I just noticed that.
Thanks.
We aren't hating women at all. We love women. But you women have told us, stay away. We don't want you. We want the bear. It's all men till it's no men. Women want 6 foot 6 inches, 6-pack, 6-figure income. We want our peace. We are no longer accepted for what we are.
I am absolutely convinced that
I would say there's some truth to that, right? And I'll add the caveat and say it's not all women, obviously, but the loudest versions, or the loudest people that you hear, are women online, and what they're asking for and what they're requesting are not the stereotypical guy, right? They're asking for the exceptional guy, the guy who defies all odds and can beat out all other men. And the problem is, if everybody feel like they deserve the same people, and if that guy truly is, only with one woman, that means you're going to leave a lot of women out in the cold. And I don't think they realize that, because a lot of them think that they're the greatest.
men don't actually want relationships. Like, men want their lives as is. They want to go about their day exactly as it is, do whatever they would normally do, and just want somebody there when it's convenient for them, or, for the things they want to do. Like, convince me I'm wrong.
All right, I'll try. Like, I've literally heard women say exactly what she said. Like, they don't want men to be with them. I've heard women say, like, I don't even want a man in my house, in my bed. I just want him when I want him, and I need him to go away when I don't need him anymore. There are women who tell men to go fight in wars and die, right? So these things are real life conversations that women are having. But as always, it tends to get flipped. And I tend to talk about accountability a lot, because you should at the very least, hold yourself accountable for what you say and do, even if you don't get caught, right? Sometimes my life's biggest lessons was doing something really dumb, not getting caught about it, and having a conversation with myself and saying, you were wrong for that, right? I don't see this kind of reflection going on in general society anymore. And that troubles me, because if you get so upset at everybody and everything around you, I mentioned the guy on the scooter, right? You get mad at everybody else so much that you can't see how your own actions impact your life, you're always going to be lost.
Here's a strong, independent woman for you all. Men spent most of our lives trying to convince you, only to be told nothing we do is ever enough. Never again.
I don't think men like women anymore. I don't think that men desire us women anymore, us real women. I don't think that they value us like they used to. Men aren't really putting out effort. They're not putting out any type of effort like they used to. Taking a girl on a date becomes an issue. Spending money on a woman is an issue. You should have your own money as a woman. Going out to do something fun is an issue. Why don't you just come over to the house and we could do something in the house? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from New York, but I see women all over the globe complain about what's happening with men nowadays. Is it women that's not making themselves desirable anymore? Because there are beautiful women out here, beautiful women, ambitious women, caring women, nurturing women who are outside looking for love, and men that just can't keep up with that. Like, they're not communicating with them. They're not willing to hang out and do fun things. what happens to the fun in life? What happened to life being exciting and fun and, you know, going out and discovering the world? What are y'all doing? What are y'all men doing other than that?
We chilling, right? And I'm telling you, I was itching to unpause this video. But here's the problem. And I think we are starting to see the pattern of these clips, right? The problem is that she kind of alluded to it and then she caught herself. She said, are women less desirable? And then she turned around and then went right back to blaming the men, right? And I can give pretty generic answers as to why men don't do what they do and we used to do anymore, right? And this is coming from a guy who's been married for a few years, so please take it with a grain of salt. It's not, religion. It's not considered fact. This is my opinion. But I think most men don't engage with the greater populace of women anymore. It's because you made engagement unsafe. You made it a chore. You made it so difficult for a man to just hang out with you that men are like, you know what? I'm not going to keep doing it. And I love warning people about certain things. Like me personally, I don't believe in breaks in relationships. I think if you want to break, then you might as well just break apart. We're not playing those games because a lot of people, they use those breaks to cheat anyway. But I don't believe in breaks. And I don't believe in breaks because people like to play games
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you speaking to me or sleeping with someone else?
We were on a break.
with other people, especially when they're on those breaks. But my overall point is I don't like the mentality that people have nowadays because what they do is they don't understand how the things they do affect the people around them. And I'm speaking in general, of course, but women have in general advocated for men to leave them the hell alone. You don't get to complain that men now want to leave you the hell alone. And one of the things I tried to warn people, and that's what I was getting at earlier, I almost forgot, is you have to be very careful what you ask for because one, you just might get it. And shooting yourself in the foot by getting what you asked for, it has to be one of the worst feelings on the planet, right? And then you add to the fact that the the pandemic forced people away from each other. And you have to be careful with people not being used to the routine anymore. So when people are always around you and they're constantly doing the things that they deem normal and something abruptly stops them from doing it, it might be hard for them to start it up again. The same goes for exercise, diet, relationships. If a man was constantly chasing women only to get rejected, only to be called creepy, only to be, overlooked because you weren't what they were looking for, what makes you think that man's going to keep doing the same thing? Logic dictates that he must stop. So he's going to stop. Some men stop faster than others. Some men have low self esteem and no self value, so they don't ever stop. We call those simps, right? But eventually, most men are going to say, you know what? No. And here's another thing. She mentioned the desirability aspect of it all. Not all women are desirable. And someone needs to start saying that out loud. Just because you think you're pretty, just because other women think you're pretty, does not mean men think you're attractive. That's not how this works. And some people's standard is higher than their looks. And the sad truth is, some women are so hyper focused on the way they look that they don't work on any other characteristic. And if you already think that you're beautiful, you're one, not going to actually work on your looks because you think you already arrived to the destination. And two, you're also more than likely not going to work on the other characteristics that's required for a long lasting, long standing, long term relationship. And that's something that most people don't understand and don't realize typically until it's too late.
Men are done. They've checked out of effort, romance, and adventure, leaving women to carry the weight of dating and excitement themselves. Taking a woman on a date, spending money, planning fun. All too much for modern men.
And that's another thing, right, that I forgot to mention in terms of dating and going out with a stranger. There is so much responsibility and onus put on men that it's like, I don't know you enough to want to put forth that much of an effort. And I had to learn and grow into that as I got older. Because when you're young, especially when you're raised by a single mother, you're taught to do certain things for women because our mothers have a poor habit of raising their sons rather, to be like the men they wish they had. And then a lot of young women don't appreciate those men. So then they use and abuse those men. And then they turn some of these young men into something that no woman would ever want. Because then that man doesn't see value in relationships. From a logical standpoint, if he keeps trying and keeps failing and keeps trying and keeps failing, a great deal of them are just going to stop.
Women are out there thriving, ambitious, and still creating experiences, while men sit back, invisible and disengaged.
And that's another thing, right? Women tend to seek out certain people who do certain things, right? Women want to go on trips and do all this other stuff. Most men do not want to do that. Most men will tag along if they like you and you're doing it. But most men deep down want to sit home and relax, just like this guy is in this chair. I don't know the show, movie, or this scene, but most men want to do what this man is doing. They just want to relax. They don't want to go out with you. They don't want to do all this extra stuff. Y'all seek adventure. Men tend to not. And if they do, it's usually something really ridiculous or dangerous. And a lot of women don't want to do that. Right? So there's always a divide between men and women. Likes and desires are not the same. What men want, what women want are not the same. And this is why so many women struggle with relationships. They think if I become what I want the man to be, then that makes me more desirable. And it's like, well, yeah, to other women, like not to men. You don't typically hear men saying, man, I wish my girl was a boss. I wish she was a CEO. That's not something you hear from straight men. It's just not. You know what you hear them say? I wish I would get a girl that's loving, caring, submissive, who actually likes me. It's sad that we got to get to the point where dudes just be wanting a woman to like them. Like, that's your standard? That's really the standard for a lot of men. I just want somebody who like me. Crazy.
The era of men showing up? Dead. All thanks to modern women.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort.
There's plenty of pivotal moments. How about when a woman called a man weak for opening her car door?
Yeah, I'm gonna let her go in, but yeah, she's right. And there's plenty of examples as to why men stopped. It's not like men just decided out of the clear blue socks, I was about to say sea, but out of the clear blue sky to just stop pursuing women. Women actively told men to stop. Women actively tried to make it a criminal activity to pursue them. Women actively caught attitudes when a man just tried to talk to them. Don't get me wrong. I understand it from their perspective. It can get rather annoying, especially the better looking you are. I can't imagine how annoying it is. You walk down one block, one guy try to talk to you. Walk down another guy try to talk to you. You walk down another guy try to talk to you. I get it. Has to be annoying, right? But you got to understand, when you ask for something and you get it, you don't get to complain about it. You don't, because you got what you asked for.
Or the time that men pursued women on dating apps and him saying, hey, how are you?
Before she goes into more, I also got to add this fact, right? Men are also very visual creatures by nature. It's not just we're looking at your body, right? We watch what you do. And so when we watch you chase after and kill yourself after men who are abusive, we watch you chase after men who already got 15 kids. We watch you chase after the bad boy, the miscreant, the guy who does nothing for you. How do you think that's going to affect the logical mind? All right, I'm going to let her go in now.
Wasn't good enough. How about the pivotal moment when a man is looking out into the open and happens to glance in a woman's direction and somehow he's undressing her with his eyes? Or how about the moment when women considered everything the bare minimum and nothing is ever good enough? Or what about the pivotal moment where men have to fix everything in a relationship to make it work and women have to simply exist? Or how
I was going to let her go in until she said that point, right? I think the first 3 or 4 women said exactly what she was talking about. Like, it's a problem. Men don't approach women anymore. Relationships are dying. And almost all of them made it a man problem, AKA men have to fix all of the problems in the relationships rather than you working with that man or working with men in general. And until that changes, well, it's not going to work for these women because most of them aren't going to change. Let's be real. So they're always going to struggle and they're always just going to blame the men, right? But the women who get it, the women who's like, all right, I have an issue in my relationship. Let me talk to my boyfriend, my husband about it. That's how you fix problems. That's why these women tend to have successful relationships. I do, however, wish, and I don't know, in this climate, you probably can't even reach most women because they have so much other content of women just feeding them nonsense, like the sprinkle lady, who's more than likely single, by the way. Right? Like, I think it would be so advantageous for women to get on this platform and start telling the truth about why other women struggle. Will they call you a pick me? Yeah, that's what they do. They're children, so they act like children. They tease you, they try to make fun of you, they try to shame you. Right? That's how these women want to get picked, but call other women pick me's because they're doing what needed to be done to get chosen by a man who actually is doing something with themselves. Right? They would rather listen to like morons like Sierra who come out with songs about being single while also making claims that she had a prayer to God that he gave her a man who wouldn't take advantage of her and all this other nonsense. It's such a dual mindset that's constantly fighting each other. And the more destructive version is almost always going to win. Almost always.
about the time there was a study done that said 80% of women find men unattractive, so why would they try anymore? Or the pivotal moment where men can be accused of SA or grape at any given moment by accident just because a woman is pissed off because she was rejected? Or what about the pivotal moment that women have constantly told men that they're so undesirable that they would rather pick a bear over a human being, as if men don't have feelings? Or how about the pivotal moment that every single man that ever chased a woman was considered a simp and women simply didn't respect them or want to be with them because they're chasing and they're trying too hard? What about the pivotal moment when the nice guy gets left because he's not toxic enough? Or what about the pivotal moment where men can't even simply be respectful without it being considered creepy or too friendly? Or what about the time that women decided that not even Cheesecake Factory was good enough for a first date? That they didn't want to get to know men for who they are. They wanted to know how much money they made and their status. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound worth chasing.
Yeah, and I'll counter that by adding something that happened to me today, which I it gave me a glimmer of hope. So my wife went, she had to leave us, and I had the baby with me. My other kids went to school, and I was walking down the block, and there was a young lady who saw me coming down the block. It was narrow because it was like garbage day, a bunch of garbage, and I hate New York sometimes. Well, it was piles and piles of garbage on the sidewalk, so it blocked half the sidewalk. So it's very narrow where we could walk. Now I have a jogging stroller. The stroller's huge, right? And it's not enough space for both myself, my kid, and her to pass. So as a gentleman, I moved to the side, right? And she moved to the side at the same time, and she's telling me to come on. I'm looking at her like, no, you go, right? And she finally, walked through, and I just said, have a nice day. And she said, wow, thank you so much. And then that was it, right? Nothing major, but stuff like that gave me hope, because the internet will tell you that young women don't speak to men. Now, don't get me wrong. She might have only spoke to me because I had a baby with me. And, sometimes babies soften women, right? But that gave me a glimmer of hope that there are young women who are still respectful in this world, who I pray to God that that young girl finds herself a nice young man and they grow and build together, right? But those moments still happen in the world, right? Don't let this internet fool you that everyone's just out there hating each other. I think a lot of people who hate each other were not suited for relationships anyway, so they tend to have negative experiences, and then they tend to kind of correlate their negative experiences with an entire gender. And it's like, when you really get down to the brass tacks of things, like, some of these women probably in these videos are not worth dating. which is why they have such horrible experiences. But people don't like talking about that.
Okay, bye.
Ask the bear? It's just not worth the risk. Chase a woman, show respect, or simply exist, and somehow it's never enough. You get called a simp, creepy, or weak. Women constantly raise the bar, demand status, and devalue effort. And men are done playing a game that punishes them for even trying. The era of men pursuing women with genuine effort? Over.
Damn, y'all saw Clark Kent break that pencil? I wonder what show is that. That dude he looked completely different with his hair like that and mustache. I already know she gonna clap when she talk. Look at her hands. Oh my gosh, she gonna be bad annoying. Look, hold on.
I am convinced that these men just don't like women.
All right,
They
she
just
did
don't
one
like us.
clap, but
Not
she did
saying
the
that
head
they like
thing,
men,
the neck
but they
thing.
just don't like us. Every time we point out like where a man is lacking, right? So it's like, oh,
Hold on. Let's start here for a second, right? You can already tell from the attitude, just the way she moves her neck, right? I thought she was gonna clap more when she spoke, but I guess I was wrong. So she said, you can tell men don't like us. And then she proceeds to say, because when we call out their inadequacies, like let's just have a moment of silence for the stupidity. All right, enough of that. Right? Why would anybody want you to call out their inadequacies? Especially from the start. Like, we just started dating, sweetheart. Why are you telling me I ain't worth nothing? Like, that's crazy. And she think that's okay. But then doesn't understand why she can't get in a relationship. Is that not what I was just talking about?
we want men to be more romantic and give us flowers. Their comeback will be like, why am I getting a girl flowers? They're gonna die anyway. Okay, you don't like us. I saw a meme yesterday.
How does that mean that they don't like you? Like, I still to this day share that sentiment. I don't like buying my wife flowers because they gonna die. I'd rather buy you something that won't die. At least something that won't die so fast. Like, I'd rather buy you a dog than flowers, and dogs cost way more than flowers, right? I'd rather buy you jewelry, and you better not lose it, because then I ain't buying you no more jewelry, right? These things last longer. Why would I buy you flowers? And it's like, just because it's what you want and what you desire does not mean somebody else is wrong for not giving it to you. And no one teaches young women these lessons, especially when they don't have fathers, because their mothers think the same exact way. So it makes sense that this nonsense gets pushed down from generation to generation. Why was I looking up pod, and why is it still here? But yeah, it's like it gets pushed down from generation to generation. And this is why they struggle with relationships.
And it was a man like, when you're having a bad day and she sends you a selfie and your day gets worse. Huh? Y'all really hate us.
That's not hatred, but if my day was bad, why are you sending me a picture of yourself? Why don't you try to comfort me? what kind of see? And this is why I think some people, I think a lot more women are narcissistic than they realize. Bruh, I'm having a terrible day, and your first thought is, "Oh, he needs to see me." Like, what?
Say like, oh, I love a man that opens the door for me. Why would I open a woman's door? She got two hands. She could open her own door. You hate us.
That's again not hatred, because that's what y'all said. Y'all said I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man to do anything for me. You see how the words they use work against them? This is why men love feminine women. And she doesn't come off as like overly feminine to me, right? But when men are in the presence of a feminine woman, they tend to behave themselves differently.
Oh, we love like the girlfriend proposals and we love the decorated hotel room. Why would I be decorating? Yo, just say you don't like us. Just say you don't like us. That's it. And we'll just move on. We'll just move.
And that's another thing, right? They don't understand that maybe they just don't like you, right? Because there's always that woman who tells the story about the man who strung her along and never wanted to marry her. And then he connected his life with somebody else after they broke up, and now he's married with kids. Those women exist. But what those women don't understand is that that man probably didn't bang with you like that. He probably saw a deep-rooted flaw in you, and he didn't have the heart to leave you. Because a lot of men do that. Hell, I know men who got married who don't like their wives. They keep telling you about that guy I know from Philly who went all the way to New York just to get away from his wife. He was married. These men exist. They exist. So what I'm saying is, a lot of women don't understand that their behavior puts them in a non-wife box. And once you get in that box, you're not getting out of that box. And back in the day, you used to be able to get out of that box if you got pregnant. Nowadays, dudes be like, man, listen, I'll just try again with somebody else.
Come on, y'all can stop pretending that y'all actually like us. We get it. Y'all don't like us. It's cool. We're gonna find somebody that does like us. And then we find the people that like us, y'all be mad. It's no winning. It's no winning.
This is a savage reality check. So many men have just mentally checked out of caring about women. Not because they like men, but because they're checked out entirely. Romance, effort, gestures, all dismissed, mocked, or treated as unnecessary. Women can show up, be amazing, and it still won't matter because the effort isn't reciprocated. The truth? Some men simply don't value women anymore, because they were never valued the same way. And that's why the dating game feels hopeless.
Why American men don't want to date American women anymore. A little disclaimer, I do live in the US for the past 7 years. 1. Some American men feel that American women are very entitled. They feel that many American women expect a partner who fit a specific ideal. He has to be smart, attractive, successful, fit. They believe that many American women have unrealistic expectations. They expect their partners to do everything, and they expect their partners to put their needs above their own. 2, because of the rise of radical feminism, there is a loss of femininity among American women, and they even started to adopt some masculine traits. 3, opportunistic behavior. A big percentage of divorces are initiated by women, and usually it's because they prioritize their career and personal growth over their family life. And a lot of men also express some frustration because they feel that there is a lack of commitment and loyalty among American women. And that is why a lot of American men are now dating non-American women, because they believe that non-American women tend to prioritize mutual respect, shared values, and commitment.
You see what happens when you actually listen? She articulated that very well. I mean, she has a thick accent, but she articulated that very well. Men are simple creatures and they're not asking for much, but when you're told you should do things for women and there's nothing reciprocated and you're even laughed at, talked down to by doing it, you're just going to stop. It shouldn't be radical. It shouldn't be rocket science. This is common sense, or it should be anyway.
The juice is
And I'm gonna go on record. I'm not a huge fan of the passport thing because what a lot of American men do, and it's the same thing what a lot of black men do, right? Because a lot of black men run to white women because they think white women don't have problems, which is people. Like people have problems. It's a stupid mentality, right? But and the same way like some black men do that with white women, some men in general do that with foreigners and people from other countries. And it's like, no, they have issues too. You just aren't aware of them. Their men have their own issues with those women. Their women have their issues with those men. Right? You're not going to fix a problem by moving. You usually fix the problem by changing your vetting process. And again, I got to keep going back to the vetting process because that's one thing I'm a troubleshooter by nature and by trade. So I'm looking at what works, what doesn't. And one of the things that I'm noticing is it's a very common thing to see that most people have no idea how to vet. And it's burning them every time. Right? You know how much time you would save if you realized that that person you were dating wasn't worth much? It would save you a lot of headache and heartache. Learn to vet.
not worth the squeeze. It's not just American men. A man from the UK would also run the other way ASAP if it's an American woman.
Why men don't stay friends with you?
Hold on. And ooh, purple hair. But I've seen her before. But he made a great point because that's the other thing, because you also seen women talk about, I'm gonna be a passport girl. And it's like it don't work the same because European men don't like y'all either. And that's the part of the you notice you don't hear them saying it as much anymore because they tried it. They tried traveling and the European men don't want them. And what they don't understand is European men are built different. They won't pay for your date. They weren't raised by single mothers like a lot of American men were. So they're not going to just off rip pay for your date, and they damn sure not going to pay 300, 400, 500 rent money for a first date. Like, you must be out your rabbit mind, right? And there's videos of women online who have witnessed it. They thought they were going to get over by traveling, and they're like, yo, the men don't pay for any of the dates. And it's like, it's a real culture shock for them, So I'll let this purple haired lady say what she about to say.
After you've rejected them. Some women get offended when she's done friend zoning a guy and he wants nothing to do with her. She feels used. But here's the thing, it can be painful to be around someone you like that, knowing that they're probably pursuing somebody else. It can hurt his confidence. And he has a right to choose the relationships that he wants to be in, especially when he's not getting what he wants out of them.
Y'all saw the dog in the background. I thought that was a person creeping for a second. But no, she made a great point, right? Again, I keep saying it. You reject somebody, how many times do you think they're going to keep trying before they give up? And then you can't get mad when they give up. You definitely can't get mad when they go somewhere else. And a lot of people do that, right? How many videos have we seen online where a young man goes after a young woman, she rejects him, she says, okay, he goes to their friend. The friend actually likes him. And then that first friend tries to pull the other friend away. It's like, come on now.
Remember, brothers, if you're not the first choice,
damn, what she do to this man? He looks sad.
You're not a choice.
Is it actually true, right, that a girl can have 3 different guys hitting her up, showing so much interest that all want her? But then there's that 4th guy who wants absolutely nothing to do with her. But that's the guy that she wants.
I've literally seen this before. So yes, it's a thing. And it's a human thing. It's not really a female thing, right? We tend to want what we can't have. It's like the forbidden fruit story. People always want what they're told they can't have. It's like, damn, if you want people to do stuff for you, tell them they can't do it. They probably gonna do it.
If so, which I think that's the case very often, please tell me why. I don't understand.
Ew, what kind of what? Yo, let's see. We got to get some of these young men off the internet and back in the real world and nature. Why would you end the video like that? What's wrong with this boy?
This perfectly illustrates why so many men have checked out. Women chasing the unavailable man teaches that effort, respect, and genuine interest don't matter. When being nice, consistent, and attentive gets ignored while aloofness gets rewarded, men quickly realize the game is rigged. That disconnect between desire and reward is why so many have stopped trying altogether.
And it makes perfect sense. It's logical sense, right? And I'm going to say this real quick. There are men who got left because they were, and I quote, too nice, right? And guess what those men did? They watched their ex-girlfriend and they saw who they connected themselves with. And when I tell you, from a logic-based standpoint, when you're a nice guy and you watch your girl leave you because you're too nice, and then she gets with someone who treats her like crap and she sticks around with them and she chases them and she does all that stuff, you have to think about what that does to a young man. The younger, the worse. Seriously, take some time and think about it. Let me know what your thoughts were.
Look at this article I found today. The dangerous rise of men who won't date woke women. Pathetic.
Listen, man, I was about to allude to this with the first lady with the purple hair. You gotta be careful when women start coloring their hair these crazy colors. They don't follow rules. They don't listen to nobody. They're not scared of nobody. They don't fear God. Like, I'm telling you, when you with women with these bright colored hairs, you can see them in the dark. Be careful. I know she gonna say some nonsense. She already said pathetic. I caught that. But she gonna say some nonsense. And it's like, the problem is the term woke. It's crazy how they really changed the term woke from like paying attention to just like a lot of like homosexual stuff. It's really strange to me. Like, white folk really adapted that word. They just took the word and changed this whole meaning. But let's hear what she gotta say.
I know you probably can't tell, but I'm quite woke and very alert to...
Oh, we knew that. We look at the hair, look at the nose ring. I have a pet peeve with these nose rings. It's like, why? But I want to hear what she got to say. I know it's crazy.
To social injustice. Woke discrimination in dating should not be tolerated. Also, who wouldn't want this?
I wouldn't. But what I felt like that was one of those Tony moments.
Hello. Goodbye. Anyways, if you want to start a business on a budget, make sure you go to the source fed.
But what was she said? Dating discrimination? What does that even mean? It's like they got new terms every day.
I mean, look at these bangs. They're perfect. Come to think of it, I've been single for the past 10 years. Ever since...
Yo, these people aren't paid to do this. They actively come on the internet with nobody asking them, give out personal information that nobody asks for, and tell us exactly why nobody wants them. Bruh, she got issues. She tries to push it on the world by being a social justice leader, which she's probably not really like an activist or anything. She just likes to tell people what they like to hear, and she thinks she's doing the world a great service. And then she gets mad when nobody wants her. I guarantee you this woman is a headache in a relationship. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And she always was talking like an arrogant person. Look at me, who wouldn't want me? Yeah. All right.
Since I started free bleeding in women's marches. But what kind of man doesn't love that level of confidence? I don't
Free what? What'd she just say?
even have that many dating requirements. I mean, he has to be a vegan, obviously,
Oh.
and he must have his pronouns in his bio. He must provide proof of vaccination and all his boosters, and he must wear an N95 mask or equivalent during sex. But forget about condoms, because that's what
Yo, she gotta be trolling. I gotta wear Darth Vader mask while what? It's already hard enough to breathe when you pumping. You gotta put on, those. It's funny because I used to wear like a workout mask. It was like resistance training, but it would literally restrict the air that you could intake while you're working out, and it's like supposed to help with your breathing. I think it does, right? But like she wants you to wear one of those. Maybe we'll have a picture of that. Maybe just plaster Darth Vader everywhere. Like that's these people, man. I hope she's trolling.
abortion healthcare is for. He needs to be okay with the fact that I don't shave any body hair, but he has to be perfectly
She shaves her eyebrows. Her bangs were cut. You can see where they cut her hair.
manscaped with the body of Chris Hemsworth. He also must be okay with the fact that I wear natural deodorant. It doesn't really work, but at least I don't have aluminum seeping into my skin.
Oh yeah, she trolling. Thank God, because yo, that's wild. But there's women with lists like this. They exist.
And last but not least, he must not like video games or sports. So I don't really know what the problem is. I'm a total catch. Did you ever think that maybe
Oh, the same lady?
it's your attitude, or maybe it's your
Yo, isn't it crazy what hair can do? Like, yo, that's the same lady. If I seen her on the street one day and I saw the other one on the street, the same place, same outfit, same, everything, I would not recognize her.
irrational list of standards? What do you mean attitude? Also, I don't have to lower my standards for any man or anyone.
This is a perfect representation, and we can spot them a mile away. Thanks for watching Manhood. If you want to...
All right, we'll close it out here. I'll just address the ladies on this one. You want to know why men don't do certain things anymore? Go ask them. And ask them for an honest opinion, and try not to get mad when they tell you. Matter of fact, don't ask them, because men do this thing where we soften things for women, especially in their presence. Because we don't want to make you uncomfortable. Go on the internet. Somebody will tell you. They'll piss you off when they're telling you, but go on, listen on the internet to opposing opinions, and they'll tell you exactly why men stop. This video is a great example, right? Men stop doing what they were doing because women don't care about the men who are doing it. A lot of women want a specific man to do it, and if it's not that specific type of unicorn man that she's looking for, all of your efforts are essentially moot. So men have learned to stop doing it. Also, they've watched as men who do nothing for you get the best of you. So logically speaking, I'm not paying $30 for a hamburger when I watch you hand out most of the people who were in line before me. They got it for free. It's really that simple. Oh my gosh, did you just compare women to a hamburger? Yes, it's called an analogy. Grow up. Right? Grow up. Why would somebody want to pay full price when you're giving that same product away for free? And let me be real. Imagine you pay full price and you thought you had a good product only to find out that other people got it for free. That's going to piss you off and change your perception of the product. Now, is it? Oh my gosh, did you just call them a product? Yes, I did. Grow up. Right? You can use analogies. It's not meant to call a women, I'm not trying to degrade women in that sense. I'm just using an analogy. So, yeah, I agree with the person who made this video. I don't think the vast majority of women understand why men don't do what they do anymore, because they just see it as a defect in the men. They don't see their own actions. So this is why accountability will remain paramount for the near future. And until both men and women learn accountability, this is not a problem that's ever going to get fixed. So I think we should start there. All right, let me know your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything else in between. It's your boy Boots. Holla at y'all. I hope to see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Center Ground Podcast. We'll be back soon with some more great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We are a new channel, and growth is essentially our main objective. So send us an email at centerground.pod@gmail.com with any ideas or clips you would like for us to review. This was definitely fun, and I'd say let's do it again. But before you go, always remember, greatness lives somewhere within you. Just make sure you're taking the time to find the key to unlock that greatness. Until we meet again, I'll see you soon.